Welcome to The Real, Episode 9, Judge Me, It's Cool. If there's one subject for which the concept of the real was created, it's this one, judging. The level of understanding and application of judgment has to be at an all-time low among believers. I think it's because the Bible has lost its authority among the group, but that's a rant for another day. So, what's the problemo with the judge not let you be judged mentality? Well, before we can discuss the subject, we gotta define the word. Merriam-Webster defines judge as to form an opinion or conclusion about. Let's think about that for just a sec, okay? Do you really believe the Bible tells us not to form an opinion or conclusion about stuff? Or events? Or people? Hey, you guys, I know your father is a devil, as Jesus stated in John chapter 8, verse 44, but we good. Or why did John the Baptist call out a brood of vipers? Luke chapter 3, verse 7. Was he really saying, yeah, but can we hang out together? No. You see, ladies and gents, we are to judge people, places, and things. It's the way we judge them, the standard we use to form those opinions and conclusions. You know what that process is called? Discernment. That's looking at a person, place, or thing, and, as Merriam-Webster defines, to perceive or recognize. The Bible tells us in Psalm chapter 119, verse 66, to teach me good judgment and knowledge. That is, grant me the knowledge to recognize this from that, God from Satan, good from bad, obedience from sin. The trip about all this confusion over judgment culminated, for me at least, when I was discussing the subject last week with a dude on Facebook. A bastion of biblical discernment if there ever was one. Dude says, you brought up discernment. That's different from judgment. No, don't get it twisted. He was right. And correctly useless. Could someone please tell me why you would want to perceive and recognize stuff, but not form an opinion or conclusion? Then what was the reason you were perceiving and recognizing it in the first place? Does God give us a mind to think and see and calculate and understand so that we can do nothing with the knowledge? Could someone out there help a brother out? Because I'd be confused. But then again, maybe I need to think about that for a second, because this lack of is what's happening today in Christianity, seeing wrong and not speaking up. But anywho, bottom line is this. Who's the biggest judge ever? God, right? Verse after verse, you see in the Bible about God's judgment. Old Testament, the Gospels, the Epistles, God's judgment is everywhere. What does it say in Hebrews 9, verse 27? Something about everybody going to die, and then what? Judgment. Wouldn't it be better, wise to know on what basis you're going to be judged? God wants man to know what's right from wrong, good from bad, so that we can be held without excuse when it comes judgment time. Well, please tell me how we are to do that if we cannot come to a conclusion. A comparison of something in relation to the standard God creates. To discern and then judge? Simple. Because I don't want to be accountable to the judge or inform my brother that he has to be held accountable to the judge. That's not me judging. I'm just the messenger. And while we may not be able to perceive or recognize the motives of someone, we can sure shoot and perceive or recognize their actions. But no, let me keep sinning and my brother keep sinning so that we may enjoy life and then roast in hell. I guess the fact that Paul says we who are in the church are to judge those who are in the church, 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 12, is some minor offshoot of patting each other on the back and telling each other how blessed and holy we are. As for me, if you're holding me to a biblical standard that's going to keep me out of hell or increase my eternal reward, please judge away, powdered wig and all. I know it's unwanted, it's uncomfortable, it's inconvenient, it's real. Welcome to The Real. Until next time, ever forward.